I, 34 am. Never thought I'd be sharing my story on Reddit, but after the events of this past weekend, I need to get this off my chest and maybe get some perspective from internet strangers. Some backstory. 2 years ago, my wife of 7 years, Melissa, 32F, decided our marriage wasn't working anymore. At first, it seemed like a standard, we've grown apart situation. She moved out, we started divorce proceedings, and I began the painful process of rebuilding my life. Then came the bombshell. She'd been having an affair with her coworker, James, for the last 8 months of our marriage. The same James she assured me was just a friend, and that I was being paranoid about. The divorce was finalized a year ago, and it wasn't pretty. We split our assets, sold the house we'd lovingly renovated together, and I moved into a small apartment across town. Those first few months were hell. I threw myself into work, picked up boxing to channel my anger, and slowly started putting the pieces back together. Fast forward to 6 months ago, when I met Olivia, 30F, at a friend's birthday party. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but there was an immediate connection that I couldn't ignore. She's smart, funny, and works as a pediatric nurse, basically everything I could want in a partner. Most importantly, she was patient with me as I worked through my trust issues. For the first time since my marriage fell apart, I felt genuinely happy. Now to this weekend's drama. My friend Jake was hosting a housewarming party, and I knew there was a possibility Melissa might be there since we still share some mutual friends. I decided to go anyway with Olivia, figuring we could just be civil and avoid each other. The party was going great until Melissa arrived. At first, she seemed fine, making small talk with everyone. Then she spotted me with Olivia. I had my arm around Olivia's waist, and we were laughing about something when I noticed Melissa staring at us from across the room. Her face went from neutral to shocked to furious in about 3 seconds flat. She marched over, drink in hand, and said loudly, "Oh, so this is why you've been ignoring my texts?" I was completely confused. What texts? We haven't communicated in months. I've been trying to reach out to you. I made a mistake, okay? But I see you've already moved on. Olivia squeezed my hand supportively as I replied, "Melissa, we've been divorced for a year. You left me for someone else, remember?" That's when things went from uncomfortable to nuclear. Melissa burst into tears, claiming that things with James had fallen apart months ago, and she'd realized what a mistake she'd made. Apparently, she'd been trying to casually find out if I was seeing anyone through our mutual friends. "You weren't supposed to move on," she practically shouted. "Not this fast, not with someone like her." The room went silent. Everyone at the party was staring at us, and I could feel my face burning with embarrassment. Olivia, bless her heart, remained calm despite having this stranger basically insult her to her face. Jake quickly stepped in, putting an arm around Melissa's shoulders and guiding her away toward the kitchen, murmuring something about getting some water. "I'm so sorry about that," I whispered to Olivia. "I had no idea she would be like this." Olivia squeezed my hand. "It's okay. Clearly she's going through something." We decided to step outside for some fresh air. As we stood on Jake's patio, I explained more about my relationship with Melissa, including how she'd blindsided me with the affair. Olivia listened intently, occasionally asking questions, but mostly just letting me talk. "You know," she said finally, "in my line of work, I see a lot of people who only realize what they had after they've lost it. Your ex seems to be going through that right now." Before I could respond, the patio door slid open and Melissa stumbled out, clearly having had another drink instead of the water Jake intended. Her mascara was streaked down her face, and her eyes were red from crying. "Can I talk to you?" she asked me. "Alone?" I looked at Olivia, who nodded slightly. "I'll go check out Jake's new entertainment setup," she said tactfully, slipping past Melissa and back into the house. Once Olivia was gone, Melissa's demeanor changed instantly. The tears dried up, and her voice became hard. "Seriously? A pediatric nurse? Could you be any more predictable? She's clearly using you." I was taken aback by her sudden shift. "Melissa, you need to stop. You have no right to comment on my relationship." "I have every right," she snapped. "We were together for 9 years. You don't just throw that away." "You threw it away," I reminded her, keeping my voice level. "You made that choice when you decided to sleep with James." She flinched at his name. "That was a mistake. It wasn't what I thought it would be. He dumped me 3 months ago for some 22-year-old at his gym." I couldn't help but laugh, which only made her angrier. "It's not funny. I've been miserable. And then I find out you're already playing house with Nurse Perfect in there. What did you expect, Melissa? That I'd just be waiting around, hoping you'd come back? That's not how this works." She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "We could try again. I still love you. I know you still love me too. What we had was special." I took a step back, shaking my head. "What we had ended when you betrayed my trust. I've moved on, and you need to do the same. She can't possibly understand you like I do." Melissa insisted, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. That's the thing. She doesn't need to. Olivia accepts me as I am now, not who I was with you. And honestly, I like who I am with her better. Those words seemed to hit Melissa like a physical blow. Her face crumpled, and for a moment, I saw genuine pain in her eyes. But then it hardened into something ugly. Fine, she hissed. Enjoy your rebound relationship. But when it falls apart, and it will, don't come crawling back to me. As she turned to storm away, she nearly collided with Jake, who had come looking for us. The commotion had drawn attention, and several party guests were now watching through the glass doors. Jake shot me an apologetic look as Melissa pushed past him and stormed back into the house. I could hear the murmurs of conversation starting up again inside. Dude, I'm so sorry, Jake said. I had no idea she would react like that. She seemed fine when I invited her. I shook my head. Not your fault. I should have expected something like this. We went back inside, where I found Olivia chatting with a couple of other guests, seemingly unfazed by the drama. She gave me a warm smile as I approached, and I felt a surge of gratitude for her composure through this whole mess. Everything okay? She asked quietly as I slipped my arm around her waist. As okay as it can be, I replied. I think she's leaving. Sure enough, Melissa was gathering her things near the door, avoiding eye contact with everyone. Part of me felt a twinge of sympathy. I remembered how lost I'd felt after our breakup. But the larger part remembered the betrayal, the gaslighting, the months of depression I'd endured because of her choices. We decided to stay at the party, not wanting to let Melissa's outburst ruin our night. As the evening wore on, several friends pulled me aside to ask what had happened or to express their shock at Melissa's behavior. I kept my explanations brief, not wanting to spend the night rehashing my failed marriage. Around midnight, as Olivia and I were preparing to leave, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Check your email. I frowned, showing the message to Olivia. Should I check it now or wait until tomorrow? Might as well see what it is, she suggested. Otherwise, you'll just wonder about it all night. I pulled up my email on my phone and found a lengthy message from Melissa, sent just minutes ago. The subject line read simply, I'm sorry. In the email, Melissa detailed how her relationship with James had been a disaster from the start, how he'd been controlling and eventually unfaithful to her as well. She wrote about going to therapy, realizing the depth of her mistake, and how seeing me happy with someone else had forced her to confront the reality that she'd thrown away our marriage for nothing. The email ended with, I don't expect your forgiveness. I don't even deserve it. But I needed you to know that I understand now what I did to you, and I'm truly sorry. I hope she makes you happier than I ever could. I showed the email to Olivia as we drove home, not wanting to keep secrets from her. She read it silently, then handed the phone back. What are you thinking? I asked. She took a moment before answering. I think she's genuinely sorry, but I also think she only realized what she lost when she saw you had moved on. Some people need to hit rock bottom before they can start climbing back up. I nodded, considering her words. I'm not angry anymore. I think that's what surprised me the most tonight. Seeing her like that, I just felt nothing. Or maybe pity. That's a good thing, Olivia said, taking my hand. It means you've healed. The next morning, I sent Melissa a brief reply. I accept your apology. I hope you find happiness too. Goodbye. Then I blocked her number and email address. Not out of spite, but because some chapters need to stay closed. As I made breakfast for Olivia and me, I realized something important. The best revenge isn't making your ex jealous or seeing them suffer. It's living well and finding joy again. 6 months later, Olivia moved in with me. We're talking about buying a house together next year. Mutual friends tell me Melissa moved to another city for a fresh start. I wish her well, genuinely. But my focus is on the future, my future with Olivia, built on trust, respect, and the wisdom that only comes from having your heart broken and finding the courage to love again. Life has a funny way of working out sometimes.